while the lawyers have met with Mueller's team before and might again, the sources believe the upcoming meeting has greater significance because it comes after the completion of interviews of White House personnel requested by the special counsel, and after all requested documents have been turned over. Mueller could still request more documents, and additional interviews.No request to interview the president or the vice president has been made, sources tell CNN. But Trump's team, led by Dowd and Sekulow, is hoping for signs that Mueller's investigation is nearing its end, or at least the part having to do with the president. Their goal is to help Trump begin to emerge from the cloud of the ongoing investigation, several of the sources explained. The sources acknowledge that Mueller is under no obligation to provide any information, and concede they may walk away with no greater clarity. "There's no there," one White House official says, a sentiment Trump's legal team hopes Mueller will echo. Reached Friday, Sekulow said, "We do not and will not discuss our periodic communications with the special counsel." Those attorneys say that some of the questions asked by investigators suggest an inquiry with much more work left to be done. Some of those questions focused on the Comey firing and efforts over the summer by White House officials, including the president, to issue a public statement in the name of Donald Trump Jr. about a June 2016 Trump Tower meeting with Russians who promised information to undermine Democratic nominee Hillary Clinton's campaign. Both lines of inquiry could indicate more work being done on whether anyone has tried to obstruct the criminal investigation, lawyers involved say. Trump's lawyers are finding one other hopeful sign. The special counsel has asked the White House for a limited scope of documents related to the president directly, largely having to do with the firing of former FBI Director James Comey, two of the sources familiar with the matter told CNN. After about 7 months on the job, Mueller has already brought charges against 4 people, including 2 who have pleaded guilty to making false statements and are now cooperating with the investigation. Manafort gets $10 million bail, can travel to Florida. Other lawyers representing clients involved have a less optimistic timeline than the White House, and think that based on the requests for documents and interviews, the special counsel investigation is likely to drag deep into next year and even beyond. The most optimistic view on the probe has regularly come from Ty Cobb, who was hired as White House special counsel to help manage interactions with the Mueller investigation. The White House interviews are completed, Cobb told CNN Tuesday. Quote, "We remain hopeful for an appropriate and prompt conclusion. McGahn had conversations with the president and other officials about Flynn's potential exposure. White House officials and the president's lawyers are dismissive of the idea that Mueller could charge Trump and others around him for obstruction of justice. Earlier this year, they provided Mueller's team with arguments for why they believe that is not an issue, including their contention that Trump has the right to fire anyone in government. CNN has reported that the Mueller team includes a group of lawyers and investigators who are assigned specifically to the question of obstruction of justice.